Sometimes when you build a video game collections, things pop up that you need money for and you have a choice to make. Now, I'm no stranger to this because I've been here before. It's kind of what led me to Series 2, if you will. See, I'm going away this month, incidentally, and I needed money, so I had to purge a fair amount of games from the collection. And then, of course, something else has popped up now that I needed money for. Fortunately, it's not anywhere near the amount that I needed for the holiday. See, EAFC has just been released and I wanted to record some content, but many moons ago when I used to do FIFA full time here on YouTube, I had an Elgato. I since sold it because I thought, well, why do I need that anymore? Well, now I need one. Now I have since bought one, but the way that I raised the funds to buy it was to purge a little section of the collection. So I had a little look through my games and I picked out a few that I thought I'd either played and decided that I probably wasn't going to play again for a while, games that I thought may come down in price over time, games that are cheaper on other platforms and I'm okay to own them on other platforms. You'll get the idea as I go through these. There aren't that many, I think there's 5 in total. Let's start with the first one, and that is Toki. Now this traded in for 8. It actually cost me about 6 or 7 in Cash Generator or Regenerator, whatever it's called, a little while ago, so I'm not losing money on this, and it is part of the first series, so I'm not going to include it in the profit and loss, if you will. Next up is a big one actually, Pokemon Arceus. Now I was looking forward to playing this, but I've decided that I have another idea for when I go away. See, I'm taking my Switch and I am going to be playing a game or two on the plane. Pokemon Arceus was going to be that game. I'm not really feeling it right now. Trades in for 25. It cost me 9. So again, not going to add this to profit and loss because it's part of the first series and all that is like major profit anyway. But that was going to be the big chunk, if you will, of the Elgato. And incidentally, the Toki and the Pokemon Arceus paid for the Elgato, and that's what that is right here. So if you're not familiar with this, this records gameplay from your Xbox, PlayStation, whatever the console may be, and it will send it directly to your laptop or your PC or whatever, and you can record it and then edit it and do whatever you want with it. This is just the standard HD 60. It was a grade C, so it was in battered condition, and I say that as if it's like falling apart. It's fine, it's just got a few scratches on it. Works perfectly well, and if you do want to go check out some EAFC 24 content, you can go check out my second channel. The link is in the description. So now you're thinking, well, that's that section done. Let's see what else he's got planned. Well, then I carried on and I had a little look to see what else I had left, because my local CEX, which I've recently done a little tour of, I guess, minus a few sections, has recently had a huge retro trade-in, I guess. A lot of people, or one person, has taken collections and collections in. They've got a lot of Super Nintendo, boxed N64, Mega Drive. Someone has gone and just taken their whole childhood in there. And the Mega Drive, of course, is what I'm focused on. They've had a lot of games traded in on that platform. Unfortunately, a lot of them have already gone. So Turtles Hyperstone Heist was one of them. I think that's like a £90 game. I don't think I was ever going to get that much credit together, and I didn't really want to spend that much in cash. Unfortunately, that's sold. There are a few others in stock. They Outrun being one of the biggest ones that I really want. It's one of my most favourite Mega Drive games of all time. It's only £42. I say only as if that's change. But again, it was just a little bit outside of my price range, especially considering there are other games there that I want. So I had to go back to my collection. What else can I purge, I thought? Well, the next game was WWE 2K22. If you've played this, let me know what you think of it in the comments. For me, this was horrific. I did not like it one bit. I got the majority of the way through the campaign and I gave up. I thought, you know what, it's not worth my time, this. I think I'm just out of touch with it. Either way, this trades in and traded in for 8. I think that's wrong because I think I got 10 for that, but I will say 8. I can't remember how it worked out money-wise, but I traded that in. And then next up, 2 racing games. Now, this is going to be a little bit controversial because I did say I want to collect these all on the PlayStation. Since going to CEX recently and doing that tour video, I have realised something, and I don't know why it's taken me this long to realise it, but games on the Xbox One are a lot cheaper. Need for Speed is in that category, well and truly. You can get Unbound, which is the brand new Need for Speed game. It's been out for a few months now, but still, it is the most recent Need for Speed game for a tenner. I think it's actually gone up to 12 on Xbox One. It's going to cost you 25, 30 quid on the PlayStation 5. that is a mental price jump. And the reason for that is, of course, the Game Pass and the EA Play and all that, all the rest of it. However, if you're a physical collector, it has never been a better time to own an Xbox One. So what I've decided to do is trade this in. I get £10 in credit for it. It didn't cost me that. It came in a bundle of games. It was free. Again, I think it might have been from Series 1. Either way, that's gone in for a tenner. And the final game is going to be Mudrunner. Now, this is a game I've played a little bit. Not really my thing. I will eventually pick it back up again and give it another go. However, for the time being, it traded in for £8. Again, I think that might be wrong, and I do think I got 10 for this, because this was a little while ago now. You know, if you've been watching the EAFC channel, for example, you'll know how long I've had that channel. I've had the Elgato since day one. So it has been a little while, and I've been putting off showing you because other things have been popping up, like the Gears of War Xbox, for example. Either way, that does leave me with around £25 in credit to be able to go into CEX and pick up some games. Now, this footage is going to be the same as the tour footage, with a few extra clips thrown in, and I'm going to cut it down massively. No one needs to see me walk around CEX again for 20 minutes, or at least the same one. Outside window, they always put the things to try and entice you in there. Don't know who's going to be enticed in by Zumba on the Wii U. Speaking of Wii U, I did look at a few games, because I haven't bought a Wii U game for a long time, and there are a few here, like Star Fox, for example, that I really want to add to the collection. But on this occasion, with £25 in my pocket, and I know they've got those Mega Drive games, I'm looking for something just that little bit more specific that I don't see that often. Our Walking Dead collection, now 28, and then I spot this. A Steelbook for Yakuza, £12. I was going to look it up, and then I saw that the slip cover on the other side had been taped together. So I decided I'm going to leave that alone, someone else can have that. But it did, and I always forget Steelbooks are a thing, right? But it did jog my memory. Steelbooks, I need to look out for them. So I saw this weird special edition for Sleeping Dogs, and I already have this on the PS4, so I wasn't looking to buy it, but I was a little bit intrigued. Unfortunately, it was completely battered. I mentioned this in the video where I did the tour. Look how many Spider-Mans they have in stock. It is mental, the amount of certain games that they have, and it's because they offer too much in terms of credit. Now we come to our first talking point. This is Resident Evil Biohazard. This is the Steelbook, and it's £6. Of course, CEX do not charge more for Steelbooks unless they come with figures and in a box and things, right? So a lot of people pointed this out when I did the tour. You should have bought that. That is going for a lot online, and even if you don't sell it, it would look great in your collection. Now, I already own that game. This is the standard version of Resident Evil Biohazard, PlayStation VR compatible, although I've never played VR, so I don't know how good that is. But yeah, I already have that, so when I looked at it, I instantly thought, right, I've already got it. I don't need it for the collection. However, the reseller in me just rises to the surface, and then I start asking the question, is this worth money? But not only that, I'm also asking the question, do I want to maybe get the Steelbook, switch out my standard, and just buy the Steelbook? Well, to cut a very long-winded story short, I bought the Steelbook, and there it is. I did take the price off it to picture it, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is worth about 40 quid at the moment. I know, I don't know why either. Steelbooks are one of those things where you either like them or you don't care. I am very firmly in the I could take it or leave it kind of way, but it's a very nice Steelbook in fairness, and it does look pretty good on the back and on the front, and it smells like an old woman. It really does smell like my grandmother. But it does, it's so strong. But there we are on the inside, and you've got the artwork behind the things. Codes are still included with this, so they may or may not have been used. I would imagine they have been. But there are recently solds of this of around £30, £35. So mine is up for about 40. I'm willing to take an offer of 30, 35, somewhere in that region, and we can turn £6 into a nice amount of profit. Now, what I should have done maybe is bought this with cash and just used the credit that I had from my collection, if you will, to buy a game that I wanted to put into the collection. However, what I've decided to do is just to use the credit. So £6 of the 25 taken out from the credit, and I am going to turn credit into profit. I'll work out figures and everything in just a second. Let's get through the rest of the pickups first, because I have something that I've been wanting for a long time. We'll get to that in a minute, but first we're going to have another quick jaunt around. Now, unfortunately, I didn't film the Xbox 360 section. I went to film it, and then I thought, no, I won't film it yet, because I'm going to come back to this and give it a real good look through and pick up the games that I want and use the credit for them, etc. And then I'll include it in the tour or whatever. And for whatever reason, I forgot that I hadn't filmed the 360 section and just didn't film it, right? So unfortunately, the game that I picked up next isn't on camera. The one thing though, and this is it, this is the clip, the Need for Speed Unbound for £10 on the Xbox Series X. I now need a Series X. It's not urgent, and I do still want my One X. But the Xbox, I wouldn't say it's an untapped resource, right? Because everybody knows this, and I've mentioned it in previous videos time and time again. The games on the Xbox are so much cheaper than they are on the PlayStation. And it is down to Game Pass for the most part. The console isn't as popular. And they just don't sell as many as they do for PlayStation, PS5, PS4 and stuff. But for me personally, the games look the same, they play the same, and I actually prefer the Xbox controller. If it's for online games, FIFA, EAFC, whatever you want to call it, Call of Duty, etc., sure, I'll buy them on the PS5 because I want to play with other people. Bigger player base, and friends and stuff are on there as well, right? But when it comes to single player games, the Xbox is kind of what I'm leaning towards now, and I'm going to be able to get more for my money as well. So before I get into my final pickup, we have the penultimate one, but I also do have something that Asda are doing right now that I want to show you in a second as well. But before we get to that, I did pick up a 360 game, like I mentioned. It was £6. This is Street Fighter and Tekken. So this is the crossover. It's not Versus, it's Street Fighter X Tekken. But yeah, I've got a thing for beat 'em ups, as I'm sure most of us do. I like to stick them in every now and again, have a quick bash, 20 minutes, half an hour, kick the crap out of some people, and then put it away and maybe do it again in a couple of days, get my fill of it. It's kind of what I do with most of my Mega Drive games as well. I won't ever sit there for hours. I know a lot of people, and I get this when I'm out and about and I'm in a boot sale or a CEX and someone comes up to me and says, hey, you're TVM, and we get talking, and they think that I live in video game stores and on consoles. I don't play the Mega Drive for hours and hours on end in one stint. I will play it for 30 minutes here or there and get my fill of it and enjoy that. I won't sit there for 3 hours playing Page Master, for example, although I have done that. But this is one of those games that I can just pop in and have a lot of fun with. I've not played it though, so you're going to have to let me know in the comments, is this worth the £6 that I paid for it? So that with Resident Evil Biohazard is 12. We have 13 quid left, and I didn't spend it all. The game I wanted was a little shy of that. Now, like I said, I did want Outrun, and the Mega Drive collection in my local CEX right now is decent, but a lot of those games are up there. They have a game, I think they've got a game that's like 150 something quid. Like I said, they had Hyperstone Heist as well, which was I think £90 plus, and a couple of other games that are really expensive. So they have Castlevania New Generation, and these are all boxed as well. That's 150 quid. Mental money. They have Arrow Flash, that's boxed, that's 45, that's not too bad. Like I said, Outrun is 42, again boxed. Sonic 3, 38, that's come down a little bit in price, and again that's boxed. Streets of Rage 2 for 28, was very tempted by that. I am a little embarrassed to say that I don't own a fully individual Streets of Rage game. I have Streets of Rage 1 on the Mega Collection 2 or Mega Games 2, but I don't have an actual Streets of Rage game, and it's one of my most favourite Mega Drive games of all time. And yeah, they had a whole host of other games as well. Now, one of my favourite games of all time on the Mega Drive is Road Rash. But it's not the first Road Rash, it's not the second Road Rash, it's Road Rash 3. I lived on that game for years, I absolutely love it, and that is one of the games I could sit there and play it for hours. Unfortunately, they didn't have that when all these games were traded in, but they did have Road Rash 2. Now, it amazes me that some people don't know what this game is, and it also amazes me that some people don't really know what Mega Drive games are, especially those who work in CEX stores. The person who served me, I had to explain to them what it was, which was just crazy. You're not going to know everything about everything, but you'd think you'd know a little bit. All of the games for the Mega Drive, for some really strange, obnoxious reason, in my CEX are all behind the till, on the back display. They're not in the glass like normally in every other CEX I've ever been to. You go and have a look at the glass, you see all the games there, and then you go to the counter and you say, oh, there's a game I want on the counter. They'll say, yeah, what is it? You tell them, and then they're like, can you go and point it out to me? Because obviously they don't know where everything is in the glass, right? So you're over there, you're pointing, oh, not that one, down a little bit more. This time though, you can't really do it because it's all the way over there. I'm here, and it's all the way over there. They go away. It's busy behind me. So yeah, it took them ages to find this. However, they eventually did. And I will now be that is a game that I will sit down for more than 30 minutes to play. Now, the second one, I won't lie to you, is the one that I've played the least. And in fact, it's the one that I've probably only played for a collective amount of 2 hours in my entire life. Loved the first one, lived on it so much that I think I skipped this and then went straight to the third. And I've only played this in sort of retrospect, if you will. But that was £12. And there's the CEX sticker on the back to prove that it actually came from CEX. So I spent 24, so I have £1 left in voucher. Like I said, one of the games traded in for more than I said it did. Or that it says it does on the website now, and it's come down a little bit since. I was very, very tempted, I won't lie to you, to look through my collection even further and to take games in and get more credit to go and maybe get Outrun, because there are games on the PS4 that I own that trade in for anywhere between £5 and £10 that I could definitely do without. I've either played them and they're not for me, or I finished them, or maybe they're games that are cheaper on the Xbox, for example, and I don't mind owning them on there instead. And in the future, I could go and pick them up on that platform. I've decided to not do that for now. It's something that I may or may not do in the future, but I do really want that Outrun for 42. It's probably going to go before I get a chance to pick it up, unfortunately. But the big plus of today's episode, before we end though, I do have something else to show you, but the big plus for today is going to be that we are going to be able to make profit on this. Will I sell it for 30, 35? I've had a lot of interest at the moment, so I would not be surprised if that sold very, very soon. Before we end though, let's go back to CEX, because this is something that was all recorded on the same day, and I'd already been to Asda to have a look, and then I went to CEX and I was looking at these new games. Street Fighter 6, a game I want to pick up, not willing to pay that top price. It'll come down, definitely. Move over and I spot Dead Space. Now, Dead Space here is £40. That's a lot of money, because in Asda, it ain't 40 quid. Now, you've got Modern Warfare 2 there for 15, which is a pretty damn good price. I know the new one's on its way. But look at this. Dead Space on the Xbox for 20 quid. Now you're thinking, you just showed us the PlayStation 5 version. Of course they're going to be different. You've proved this with Need for Speed Unbound. Well, I go over to the PlayStation 5 version, and there it is. If you can see it, I do pick it up. There's Modern Warfare, 15 quid, which I thought again was an amazing price for that game considering. But then underneath, Dead Space, £20 on the PS5 in Asda. That is a very, very, very good price. I didn't buy it. I should have. I went there first, didn't have any of the CEX pickups or anything. I know it's still on offer in Asda, so there is every chance I go and pick that up today, possibly, maybe tomorrow. I just need to hope that they still have stock of this. But I've said it once and I'll say it again. Asda is an absolutely incredible place to go for untapped deals. People don't go there looking for video games. They go there looking for bacon. Modern Warfare 2 on the PlayStation 5 in CEX is £28. It trades in for 18, so you can actually get a £3 profit in trade, if you will. Now this has come down slightly because when I was in Asda, I had a little look to see what they traded in for in CEX, and that was around 20. The PS4 version's even better again though. Now this is actually somewhere you could get some very decent credit. In fact, you can make a cash profit on this. If you go to Asda and pick it up for 15 quid on the PS4, if they still have any of course, you can take it into CEX and get £18 in cash, meaning you can make a £3 profit. Or, if you're going to spend money in CEX anyway, you could buy it for 15 in Asda and trade it in for 26 in CEX. That is a very, very nice profit. I have just noticed as well that Dead Space for some reason has gone up in price in CEX since I filmed this. It says 40 in the footage that I have. It's now 42. It trades in for 28. You could literally get an £8 trade profit if you were to trade that in. It's not quite as good on the Xbox, but they do sell it for 32, so you can save £12 and get it brand new from Asda. And again, same with Modern Warfare on the Xbox. They sell it for 30 in CEX. They trade it for 20. You can get it for 15 in Asda. Again, all this is down to stock and location and things, but I saw this, and had I had the cash available and had I had that profit in my mind from Resident Evil Biohazard, I may have gone and bought these games, and maybe I should have. Have you found any bargains in Asda or any other shop for that lately? Let me know in the comments. If you want to check out another video from me, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.